Take a moment to picture what $1 trillion would look like. The number trillion alone is impressive. It's 1 followed by 12 zeros. If you were ever to set your eyes on what $1 trillion looked like, you would need an entire full-size stadium to stack them. $1 trillion in $100 bills would cover an entire football field in neat stacks that reach 10 feet high. 1 trillion is almost what Mexico's GDP is worth. Believe it or not, the race to the first trillionaire has already been won. Welcome to The Matter of Facts, where we'll be discussing the first trillionaires from ancient kings and rulers to modern entrepreneurs. But first, did you know that 10 years ago, Zimbabwe had an abundance of trillionaires? You can blame that on hyperinflation. So the world's first trillionaire may or may not have been the bulk of Zimbabwe's population. The allure of $1 trillion Zimbabwean dollars in your pocket quickly fades away when you discover that it's worth about 30 cents US and could barely buy you a loaf of bread, never mind a yacht and a mansion. Now, when you think of the wealthiest individuals in history, there were those ancient kings, rulers, and merchants worth trillions. But first, let's start with John D. Rockefeller, who founded the Standard Oil Company. For some time, John D. Rockefeller was America's richest billionaire. Henry Ford, who made the first affordable cars, was even richer than him. And then if you take a look at someone like Joseph Stalin, Russia's former ruler, he also technically was considered one of the top 10 richest people to ever live. What may exclude him from the list, though, is that it wasn't his personal fortune. But when you have absolute power over an economy that's worth 9.6% of the world's GDP, would you care either? The same doesn't apply to one of history's other trillionaires, the first Roman ruler and conqueror, Augustus Caesar. At one point, Augustus personally owned all of Egypt. And then you have Mughal Empire ruler in the 16th century, Akbar I, who was so wealthy with a net worth of around $21 trillion that he controlled 25% of the globe's GDP. The likes of the notoriously brutal Genghis Khan would have been just as wealthy, if not more. That is because he had over 12 million square miles of land under his rule. Before we get into the first modern trillionaires, in a race to reach that title, we have the wealthiest person to ever live, Mansa Musa. Mansa Musa was the ruler of the kingdom of Timbuktu in the 13th and 14th centuries, and he was so unbelievably wealthy that experts today have trouble imagining the extent of his fortune. They settle for something like incalculable. It's said that during the pilgrimage to Mecca, he and his entourage single-handedly ruined the city of Cairo's economy from how much gold they spent there. It took them 12 years to recover. All of these are past figures. Is there any chance the world would get to see a trillionaire in this lifetime?
Can you smile, man?
He's very happy. Be nice to him.
The answer is yes. We'll probably even get multiple trillionaires in just a few years' time.
Welcome. Welcome to production hell.
Billionaire genius Elon Musk, who is often considered the real-life Tony Stark, is one of those heading the trillionaire race. He's only a few steps away from it, actually being the second richest person in the world. Just in January of 2021, his company Tesla share price rose to over $880. If those shares rose 3 times their price, he'll be a trillionaire overnight. It is estimated that he'll become a trillionaire by the year 2025.
It's my privilege to be here this evening with Jack Ma, one of the great entrepreneurs of our time, of course, the founder of Alibaba.
E-commerce giant Alibaba's Jack Ma could become a trillionaire at the age of 65 in 2030.
Our guest today is Mukesh Ambani, none else, and it's a rare appearance of this kind. Have you ever made an appearance of this kind before, Mukesh?
Following him in his ruthless race is India's business magnate Mukesh Ambani, who owns Reliance Industries. By the time he reaches the age of 75 in 2033, he'll celebrate it with one of the largest bank accounts in history.
我认为民营企业依法依规，专心专注，兢兢业业地做。
And following him is likely to be Chinese real estate tycoon Xu Jian, who is likely to reach the status in 2027.
Welcome to How to Build the Future. Today our guest is Mark Zuckerberg.
Facebook's co-founder and current CEO Mark Zuckerberg will be one of the world's youngest trillionaires, as he's estimated to reach the status by 2036. Others who will likely be the modern world's first trillionaires are Tencent Holdings' Mahawatan, LVMH CEO Bernard Arnault, who owns the likes of brands like Christian Dior, Givenchy, Marc Jacobs, and Fendi, will follow. Microsoft former CEO Steve Ballmer is also on that list, along with Michael Dell, the founder of Dell Technology. And last but not least, you have Google's co-founders Larry Page and Sergey Brin. Believe it or not, all these incredible, capable billionaires will likely fall behind not just one, but two figures who will probably be the first ones to reach trillionaire status for the first time in over 100 years. Those figures, the world's richest man, Jeff Bezos, and Russia's president, Vladimir Putin. Now let's start with Vladimir Putin and why he's likely to win the race. Since 2000, when he was first elected, he had complete power over Russia's 1.6 trillion GDP. And while his personal wealth is kept very hush-hush, it falls somewhere between 200 to 300 billion mark. His real net worth is probably a lot more than that. Then there's Jeff Bezos. By now, it's just Jeff Bezos' world and the rest of the population is just living in it. Why? For those who do not know the impossible extent of his wealth and power, Jeff Bezos is the richest private citizen in the world, billions ahead of anyone else. His company Amazon is the largest e-commerce company in history. Well, he owns 50 million shares of its stock. In 2018, when he lost a whopping $38 billion in a divorce settlement from Mackenzie Scott, his status as the world's richest man wasn't affected. In fact, since 2015, his wealth has more than doubled. And over the past 5 years, his net worth has grown by 34%. If he keeps earning an insane amount of money at this rate, how long will it take for Bezos to become a trillionaire? He could be the modern world's first member of the Trillionaire Club as close as in 5 years in 2026. And that's a wrap on the first Trillionaires. What did you think? Who do you believe will be the first to win this fascinating race? Let us know in the comments below. Before we leave, don't forget to hit the like button if you enjoyed this video. If you want to see more videos like this, make sure to subscribe and turn on your notifications for our channel, Matter of Facts. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.